The philosopher Epictetus once said, "Keep death and exile before your eyes each day, along with everything that seems terrible by doing so. You'll never have a base thought, nor will you have excessive desire." Let's meet Lucius. Standing on the colonnaded terrace of his villa, he gazed over the terracotta roofs of Rome shimmering in the morning heat. As a newly elected praetor, a high-ranking magistrate, his heart beat with fierce pride. But this pride didn't bring peace. His mind was a turbulent sea of schemes and wants. He desperately wanted the sprawling vineyards of a rival patrician. He obsessed over the deep purple color of the dye on his toga. He found himself seething with rage whenever his morning meal was served, even a moment too late. On this particular morning, Lucius was gripped by a truly base thought. He was crafting a rumor, a subtle lie to be whispered in the bathhouses, designed to ruin his rival's reputation so he could seize his trade rights. This desire was excessive, a tightening knot in his chest that blinded him to all virtue. But before he left for the forum, he paused. He stopped beside the waxed death mask of his father, a common Roman tradition. He remembered the strict philosophy his father had taught him, a kind of mental armor he had let rust while chasing his ambitions. He closed his eyes, shutting out the seductive gleam of the city, and began the necessary work of the soul. He didn't fantasize about triumph or applause. Instead, he summoned the specter of exile. In the private theater of his mind, Lucius watched his comfortable life fall apart. He imagined the emperor's mood shifting against him, like the wind. He visualized the guards stripping him of his magistrate's insignia. He felt the phantom scratch of rough, peasant wool replacing his soft linen tunic. He saw himself trudging through the city gates, not as a powerful leader, but as a banished man, forbidden from ever setting foot on Roman soil again. He felt the grit of the road in his sandals, the gnawing ache of an empty belly, and the crushing silence of former allies who had now crossed the street to avoid him. He then pushed his mind into even darker territory, the grave. He imagined the final breath rattling in his throat. He saw his body, cold and gray, laid out upon a funeral bier. He visualized the vineyards he so desperately wanted, still there, but utterly useless to his corpse, auctioned off to indifferent strangers. He saw the inevitable decay, realizing that beneath the oils and the influence, he was merely fragile matter, destined to return to dust, just like the slaves who scrubbed his floors. Lucius held these stark images, death and exile, before his mental eye for a long while. He let the icy truth of mortality seep into his bones, cooling the fever of his greed. When he finally opened his eyes, the sunlight seemed less blinding, the air clearer. The frantic, venomous need to destroy his rival had evaporated, replaced by a profound, settling calm. The excessive desire for more land seemed ridiculous in the face of the finality he had just envisioned. The base thought of slander felt beneath the dignity of a man whose time was so clearly limited. Just then, his young attendant Aulus approached nervously. He had accidentally cracked a clay pitcher while cleaning. An hour ago, Lucius would have ordered the boy whipped. Now, he saw only another fleeting spark of life, struggling in a difficult world. Lucius raised a hand gently. "It is only earth and water, Aulus," Lucius said, his voice steady and low. "We have this day to live. Let us not waste it on the breaking of pots." He descended the steps toward the city, not as a hungry predator, but as a man awake, grounded by the sobering weight of his own end. If this story connected with you, please like, comment, and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks for watching.